Hello, and welcome to This Is My Offer. My name is Don McDonnell. I'm a Global Partner Segment Lead for Energy and Utilities here at AWS. And today we're joined by Vikram Takru, founder and CEO of CloudGin, an AWS Energy and Utilities competency partner and a cloud based provider of workforce, asset, and construction work management solutions. Vikram, welcome to the show.
Oh, glad to be here, Don.
Tell us about yourself, Vikram. Tell us a little bit about CloudGen and maybe speak to some of the main use cases you address with the platform.
Sure. So I'll give you my background, right? Utility industry is in my bones. I was literally born on a thermal power station. And I lived like till my high school, like my dad used to be an engineer and I lived on a thermal power station with, the turbines and boilers and, transmission lines. And then I moved to distribution and then to testing and all generation. So I've seen everything, right? I mean, literally, through my whole, from my day one, I was born. And I've been probably associated with utility industry for over 35 years. And 12 plus years I was in Oracle R&D before obviously founding CloudGen. This is very near and dear to me, this industry. And to give you what CloudGen does is we are very, very unique provider. We are the only cloud and AI native construction work management, enterprise asset management, and field service management unified solution provider. There's nobody who has ever built a unified solution which is cloud native. So these are not like connected modules. These are not point solutions. These are not acquired products. These are all built organically on AWS cloud. These are purpose built for utilities and public sector with core integrations built in. So, for example, like if you are there using an Oracle CIS system or an SAP system or an Esri system, including Esri Utility Network, those utility integrations are pre-built into CloudGen. So, in short, if I step back, we offer a single face of work across all assets, all work types, and entire workforce. And workforce includes employees and contractors.
Excellent, excellent. We talk about moments of truth here at AWS and customer satisfaction with utilities. The single face of work gives you the opportunity to ensure that restoration, for example, happens quickly, but also front end service orders on the front end connections. So having that unified platform, I think, provides utilities with a great opportunity to really also improve the efficiency of field work by incorporating both field service and emergency service. Um, Vikram, you have built AIQ Atlas, which is a new field tool, a generative AI field assistant. You built it on Bedrock. And it's really rooted in safety, right? It's rooted in safety and field management. But the whole point is to synthesize knowledge and bring it to the point of service in the field. Tell us a little bit about AIQ Atlas, sort of how you've leveraged AWS and some of the results you've had for customers with generative AI.
Yeah, sure, Don. Right. And before I go into AIQ Atlas and AI and what we have been doing jointly with AWS, I want to take back people in time, right? A lot of times, our DNA, in my DNA, which I was talking about, right? I was born on a thermal power station, coal fired, and and when we built CloudGen, from day one, we partnered with utilities where we were sitting in trucks with the field people or sitting with asset planners. And it's a very different world, right? So if you are out doing work on field operations in a utility, you may be, sitting on a bucket truck in a where temperatures which are sub-zero, where the transmission lines are powered. So most, and you're doing a construction where you're doing a main break in heavy traffic hour where everybody's criticizing you that why is the water flooding.
Mhm.
So the work that these folks do is so hazardous, is so complex, and it's very, I mean, it's mission critical, right? I mean, as you said, right? I mean, lives depend on it, on this. Businesses depend on this. So if you step back, right, one of the things, learnings that us partnering with utilities and not, designing products sitting in emerald towers, I call it, right, sitting in
Mhm.
trucks, has taught us that the field techs are non-tech savvy. They need to focus their attention on the work that they are doing, right, which is hazardous, complex, right, different tools, right, what they're dealing with. So the technology has to be transparent. Technology has to be very transparent to them. It has to be rugged, right? So that has driven our entire innovation on the AI side, right? Which we have been working with Yuka, AWS on the Bedrock and Atlas IQ. A couple of things, right? One is voice activated, right? So we have made
Mhm.
things hands free. If you are a field technician, last thing is you want to touch something, right? You have heavy gloves, right? So we made it, hands free, just like you're talking, right? Without any barriers of any device touching which happen. We have also made things around, like if you take a picture of an asset, right, it will tell you entire asset history, asset data. It will give you, comparative analysis, right? We have also added things around, like, make it conversational, right? That as you talk, right, you're talking to a supervisor, that's how you're talking to some of our assistants, which are enabled, right? And we have seamlessly embedded it in workflows. So it's not artificial that they have to go to
Mhm.
some other place, right? It's part of the workflows which we already have for them. And it is also accessible across all devices. So it doesn't matter they are on iOS, they're on Android, they're
Mhm.
working on a Panasonic Toughbook. It is available to them across all devices, right? And one of the core tenants, Don, that I look at, right, utility, right? I mean, it's a US government mission critical infrastructure. They deal with data which is very sensitive, and we have built in joint collaboration with AWS Bedrock, the foundation of GPTR, HIPAA, NERC, data isolation, PII protection,
Mhm.
content guardrails, right? The whole security aspect, which is so critical before
Mhm.
we even enable it for anybody, right? That's all built into the common foundation. And,
Mhm.
and I'll give you a little bit deeper into the security side, right? The first thing I always tell, when I go and talk to the utility executives is that your data is not shared with anybody. This stays in your tenant. It is
Mhm.
not used to train any other public models, right? Any prompts which you do, they stay with you. They don't go anywhere, right? AWS doesn't use them. CloudGen doesn't use them. They're only used in the context of the utility controls that we have, so nobody else sees it. So that's the high level. If I look at it, Bedrock has given us obviously many models for us to innovate rapidly. It gives us scalability, and it has also given us, which is our core thing, which I look at, is how can we save 30 plus minutes per day per worker for the utility without they even knowing that they are dealing with one of the most sophisticated technologies ever built, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think making it ubiquitous, almost embedded for the crew is important, right? The workflows. We're seeing a lot of just standard compression of cycles using AI. But we are emphasizing human in the loop, right? Still, in the use of AI. Tell me a little bit more, Vikram. We've worked over the years at places like Cal Water. Tell me about, maybe talk a little bit about Cal Water and some of the results you've seen out with customers. You mentioned, saving an hour of time for a field crew. That really compounds across the year and across a fleet. But let's talk more about specific customers.
Oh, yeah, sure. So I'll talk about two customers. I'll talk about Veolia. I'll talk about
Hmm.
Calwater, joint AWS customers, right?
Yeah.
Very, forward looking, right? Let me start first with Veolia, right? I mean, Veolia is the largest asset operator in a water wastewater world in the world.
Hmm.
We reached out to them. We met them about a couple of years back when their North American division, when they were looking at that, they wanted a cloud native system. They run asset operations for cities and utilities across scale, small cities, medium cities, large cities,
Hmm.
distributed all over the North America. And they wanted to come up with a single system which is easy to configure, which is easy to deploy, which can scale. That suddenly, if they're going from 100 users to 2,000 users city, then they don't need to re-architect a system. They don't need to license a new system. They can scale up and scale down. And they wanted also a system which can be a single tenant for Veolia, but you can have multiple cities part of that. So they
Mm.
have a view of a complete global operation rather than having data sitting in different silos and different systems, right? So we started with them, and obviously they were distributed workforce, right? So they needed something which is easy to use, even with somebody remote, without much training and things. And then obviously they worked with AWS, they worked with us, and they started deploying the system a couple of years back, and have seen huge, advantages of taking preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, outage management, right? The markouts that they do, all sitting in a single system across multiple utilities that they manage.
Mhm. Nice. How about Cal Water? You want to talk a little bit about Cal Water?
Yeah, so Calwater, I'm glad you mentioned Don Calwater, right? So Calwater was one of the very early customers when I was talking to you about, right, when you are starting, right, somebody needs to take chance on you, right? So Calwater was one of
Mm.
them, were very early customer, right? They opened, they had so much pain across all these large enterprise systems that they had bought,
Mm.
where they were seeing users adoption on the field not happening. They were seeing scheduling. They wanted to have a single scheduling and a work order management system. So they had a very simple vision. They said, all work doesn't matter if that work is sitting is my customer or a meter related work, or if I have a asset related work when I'm doing preventive maintenance or doing any asset maintenance, or if I'm going and doing any construction work, or if I'm doing some regulatory work for hydrants or
Mm.
backflow devices. All work should be in a single system. So if I can get all work into a single system, and I can schedule that as one unit of work, and I can have one mobile application for all work. So
Mm.
what that will give me is that I can gain efficiencies at scale which are unimaginable. First of all, I can optimize that work. Second, all my crews, doesn't matter, suddenly if I have a emergency which hits and all people need to do X piece of work, right? They already know the application. They are just doing a different workflow, right? So and it also helps them from onboarding people, right? Or when people change jobs, right? You don't need to learn different applications, different logins, right? And they took that to heart. They connected it to multiple systems. So they in fact changed multiple systems over the lifetime that we have, and still the face of work, which was CloudGen, always remained the same without the field even knowing that something has changed underneath, actually, right?
Nice, nice.
And they Don also took it to a next level, right? When you were talking about emergencies or things, right?
Mhm.
A real fact is, right, I mean, I'm a utility customer. All of us are utility customers, right? Most of our custom users, right? Most of the utility users do not like utilities, right? They say that they are very hard to interact with. I do not know when the field guys are coming. When I give
Mm.
a complaint, I cannot set up an appointment digitally. I cannot track the field crews. And by the way, my rates keep on increasing. Right?
Mhm.
So that's the image, that the general standard image in a community, right, across the board, right? You go, it doesn't matter which utility you are, right? And one of the things which Calwater has done very unique is that they enable customer notifications, right? So the customers can track not only the field and the inside Calwater, and the contractors have a single unified view of workforce and asset and work, but they have
Mhm.
also enabled pieces for customers. So you as a customer, if you have a high bill complaint, or you have your pipe is leaking and they're going to
Mhm.
send somebody, so you can see when the person is coming, where they are, and you can interact. Your appointment is there. The simple things which have a huge impact on how the utility interacts with the customer.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, the idea of being proactive and customers feeling that their utility service provider is being proactive is so important. Um, when you look at your rollout of Bedrock and your Atlas IQ Field Assistant, one of the things that we have recently released is uh, automated reasoning checks within Bedrock. And so when we start looking at applications and mission critical workflows of things like agentic AI, um, we see tremendous potential, and our partners and customers see tremendous potential. But we also have to be very mindful of applying responsible AI principles. And I mentioned earlier human in the loop, particularly in field workflows. Share your thoughts on agentic AI and sort of the future of AI in field work, and where you see things going with CloudGen and AWS in that regard.
Yeah. So I think agentic AI is like a very big, powerful shift for systems, which was
Hmm.
simply analyzing data to that can act on it responsibly, right? So it's a
Right,
huge
right.
change, right? It's a very big change, right, which is happening. So in the utility industry, the way we look at it is, right, AI won't just predict a potential outage or a maintenance need. It will automatically trigger the right work order, the right crew, and communicate the status across the organization and to, by the way, the end customers all in real time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do see human in the loop for a very, very long time. Especially what we are dealing with is our critical infrastructure, emergency, life sustaining services which utilities offer. So we do see that, and we are actively looking at the next new set of features and capabilities which are being launched by AWS. So we are very happy to be on AWS, and and this is also giving our customers a huge ability that they don't need to look at embedding AI from multiple systems and signing different procurement contracts, looking at what the security
Hmm.
pieces are. All is embedded, right? All, and it scales up and scales down as the technology evolves.
Well, we sure appreciate the partnership, Vikram. We do, and we're looking forward to building that next step with you in terms of agentic. Vikram, I know that you're on Marketplace, AWS Marketplace, but what's the best way for folks to reach you to begin an engagement with CloudGen?
Yeah, so there are multiple ways, right, for folks to engage. They can go to an AWS marketplace. They can request a discovery or a demo of CloudGen. They can utility industry, the reference industry. Like we are seeing
Mm,
explosive growth in CloudGen, and one of the simple biggest reason is, as I was telling earlier, is our customers, right? Our customers are the biggest references. They all collaborate. This is a very unique industry. For example, we have a customer in one of the largest electric utility in Arizona, and somebody in Florida had a hurricane, and we had crews from
mm,
Arizona going all the way to Florida. This is unheard of, right? So the good news is that all these customers talk to each other. So I would also highly encourage, right, that as you look at our products, as you look at things, right, you should also see how our customers are using our products, what gains they are going, right? That's one way. We also have a Cloud Connect community, which is a community of users and partners and core ISVs like Esri and the ones which we integrate with out of the box.
mm.
That is another way for them to get engaged and see how they are leveraging these next generation AI products or other products to deploy in various departments across.
This is excellent. Vikram, thank you for the time today, for joining us. This is my offer with Vikram Takru, CEO of CloudGen. I'm Don McDonnell of AWS, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Don. Thanks.